All right, so now we know how to work on things. We have created a pull request and everything.
And let's actually write code, please.
Let's go to the action. First, we want this to be a web app.
Yeah.
So we need a web server. Let's go to the toolbox
and
to
see
find
what we should use.
Yes. Well, there is a web server. It's called Javalin.
Yeah.
It's a library for developing web servers.
Very lightweight, very simple. It's like a one-page documentation. So it's a good thing to have in your, just look up and do it.
Yeah, the documentation is so good that I'm opening it right now so that we can see how to get started.
Yeah.
We need to add Javalin as a dependency. It's not something that comes with IntelliJ or something that comes with Java. So I need to add it to my project. And I'm using Gradle as my project manager.
Yes.
So I just add this line
to your Gradle file.
To my Gradle file. Let's go to IntelliJ, and you see here my build.gradle. That's the file that I use to configure Gradle, which is responsible for downloading the dependencies, installing them, compiling,
building your project.
Yes. And you can configure Gradle wrapper to use. Okay, I don't know what that means, but go ahead. Go right ahead. There is a list here of dependencies.
Yes.
And I'm going to add it. Javalin to this list of dependencies by pasting that line.
Yeah.
That's it. Now, Gradle noticed that there's something different, and well, IntelliJ noticed that there's something different and wants to auto-import the dependencies. To which I say, yes, go ahead.
It's going to download and cache it and then add it to your project.
Yeah, and with that, I'm ready to use Javalin.
Yeah.
So
that was easy.
Start to code using Java. Yeah. Perfect. I'm going to see if this hello world works.
Actually gets us anywhere?
Yes. So to do that, I will go to File and New Class. Java class, maybe?
No, new file works.
New file?
Yeah.
I think so. No, I think there is a better way.
I put it in src/main, but I use a file.
New main Java.
There, inside that,
Java class, perfect. Before we even go there, I want to talk about something else. No, maybe not. Java class, I have to give it the name Hello World.
The same thing as
the class
tedious,
name.
I don't like that about Java, actually.
Yeah. Okay, I want to add this to Git. I want to add everything to Git all the time. So don't ask again, just add. And then we have
here adding to Git is just tracking it tracking it locally. It does not mean that anything has been committed or pushed.
Fair, yes.
That is an important point to note.
Yeah, we can see that the file is added to the change list. It's not even committed yet. Yeah. So it's not like I even saved my state in the dungeon.
Anywhere, even locally for that matter.
Yep. Okay, so now we can copy this code and run it.
I see an error.
You see? Where? No, this is not an error. It's just saying that there is a lambda here. We'll go into what this code is doing in a second, but let's try to run it first. Okay, excellent. It happened exactly as I expected it to.
There's a dependency problem.
Yeah, there is a problem. And the problem is that Javalin wants to talk to us to say things like, I started, it's fine, or I'm processing some request or something.
You need log files, basically, like when you're writing a server. So that's what Javalin is trying to do. It's trying to create a log file and tell us, okay, this is my status right now. Yeah. You need to do this to, like,
in this case, it's not even writing to a file. It's just writing to IntelliJ right here. The problem is, Javalin doesn't know how to talk to us. Yeah. And that's a main point of the course. We want to separate the concerns of being a web server and the concern of logging or talking to us and showing us messages. Those are two different things, independent of one another. So it's best to have them as different dependencies.
Two different entities altogether.
Yeah, and it's recommending which one to use. There are many different logging libraries for Java. It's recommending this one. I think it stands for simple library for, no, simple logging for Java, something like that. And we have to add this logger as a dependency to our project. And because we are using Gradle, we can just add this line to our Gradle
Simple
file.
Enough. Dependencies, that's all.
And then we save this. IntelliJ is doing some work here to download and install the dependency. And now we can use this dependency. How do we use this? This is interesting. We don't have to write any code for this. In Javalin, there is already code that expects the logger to be there. So if I just restart the server,
it should work.
It will now say that, yeah, it started, it's running, it's all fine. So we can click here, localhost 7000, and we see
hello world.
Hello world. Why? Now it's time for us to explain what this code is doing.
Okay.
First of all, it's declaring a class. And this class has a public static void main method. When your application starts, this is the method that runs.
That will be called here.
Then we create a Javalin app. This Javalin app is a Java object that represents our web server.
Acts as the web server itself.
So this is the Javalin app that we are talking about here. And we are also starting this app on a certain port, port 7000. A port is like, if your computer is a building, a port is a door.
Any way to enter, any way to exit.
There are many ways to enter a building, and you go in different doors if you want to do different things. Like if you're in a hospital, you go to the emergency door if you want to go to emergency. So different doors do different things. And in your computer, there are thousands of doors, network doors. Network ports.
56,000 listed ones and then unrestricted, if I'm not wrong. I forget the number.
Thousands of ones. And some of them are free for you to use, like port 7000. You can just go ahead and use that. Some ports are assigned to certain tasks. When you go to a website and you say github.com, you don't say what port you're using. By default, it's going to go to port 80 if your protocol is HTTP, and port 443 if your protocol is HTTPS. And that's just a convention. So if you don't say a port, that's the port that your browser is using. But you can be explicit and say, I'm using HTTPS, so go to port 443. It works just the same
thing as
It even replaced the thing when I hit return because it knows it's the same. But it's HTTP and HTTPS are not restricted to these ports. Conventionally, that's the ports you use, but they're not restricted to that. So here I'm using HTTP over port 7000, and it's just fine and dandy. Over port 7000. I could be using HTTPS over port 7000. Why not?
Works. It's just
go ahead.
I won't recommend it.
But be my guest. So now I'm running on my machine, localhost. We talked about that several sessions ago, in port 7000, which is the port in which we started the server. And now we have to say what the server does. So we already started it. It's all fine. It's running. But it doesn't know what to do. Well, it knows a few things, actually. So if I go to something like this, it knows it knows how to say, I don't know what to do. So by default...
By the way, that's a 404 error, if you ever seen one.
Yes. And if you want to see that, let me go to the browser we are going to use for this course. Many different browsers out there, but we need to specify just one so you don't have to make your app work on all of them. We are using Google Chrome, like it or not. So I'll open Chrome and open our application in it. And I'll show you using, I don't know how to open this without the shortcut. Developer tools. There you go. So you come here to network and you perform this request. You go to this URL. You can see that it's a 404.
404, yes, exactly.
So Javalin knows how to do some things out of the box. Like if you are requesting something that doesn't exist, Javalin knows how to tell you not found.
It's not there.
But that's all it knows, or more or less all it knows how to do out of the box. We have to tell
it. I tell you.
We have to tell it to do something special when we access this URL. This URL actually ends on a slash.
That's why in our code when you see, if it's like the path here is set to /, it returns hello world.
Yeah, we don't see the HTTP and we don't see the slash.
Exactly. It's engulfed together.
Yeah, the browser is hiding that from us because it wants to be friendly.
Yeah.
But if we come here to the network tab and we do this request, we can see that we are requesting.
If you just
slash, you can see the slash right here, and you can see the HTTP as well.
Yes.
So this slash right here is what the server sees. So we could be requesting.
That's the app path.
Yes, we could be requesting something outrageous. We could be requesting slash. If we are requesting something outrageous, Javalin knows how to do the not found thing. But if we want to do something special with the slash, we say, okay, app. When you see a GET request, recall from a few episodes ago, we showed you in Postman how you can do different types of requests. Different types of requests.
Yes.
In this case, if we, in the browser, just type something in the address bar and we return, we are doing a GET request.
Yes.
So with a GET request, on the slash path, that's the path that we are using.
That's home here.
Yeah, I want you to do this. This is the code that you need to run.
Yes.
This is a code, a piece of code, a block of code.
What does it do is the question here.
Yeah, and this is new syntax, probably.
Yes.
Probably you have never seen code that looks like this in Java. So you should understand what this is doing. You know how sometimes you have a block of code, like you have a conditional, if something, then there is a block of code of things to do if that something is true.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, some number is equal to 5, and you had a number before. And yes, the number is equal to 5, so the code in this block needs to run.
Yeah.
And it may, I don't know, print something to sys out, print ln, and yes, it's 5.
Yeah.
Well, you can do that, and it's a block of code. But there are some blocks of code that need arguments.
Yes.
Because
technically, this also needs an argument. The if statement needs number to compare to 5.
Fair, but in this case, I need a block of code for the. I need an argument for the block of code itself.
Yes.
Not only to determine whether I should run this. This is already determined by the rest of this.
Yeah.
But I need a block of code. I need an argument for the block of code itself. This argument is going to first give us all the information about the request, and second, allow us to give some response.
Perform some operations and whatever computation, and then send it back to the client.
Yeah, when the client is doing the request here, you can see that it's sending some things like the slash, but it's also sending more things like this referrer policy. I have no idea what this is about,
no clue.
But the browser thinks it's important, and it's sending that to me. So I have a lot more information here, and if the user is filling in a form, I get to see the data from the form as well in the request.
Yes, each bit, let's say if you have a form, you can access each whatever entry that is in the form. You can access different parts of it, and you can access it all together as well.
Yes, you can see all the fields in the form.
Yes.
And all the data in the request. And also, this argument here is going to give us an opportunity for us to send a response. So when we say that this request, the response headers, and then the response body, I suppose? Yes, response right here. This hello world.
Yeah, that's the body of the response.
That's the body of the response. We can say what the response should look like hello world in this case. So both the request and the response are wrapped together in this thing that Javalin calls the context.
Yes.
This is like a block of code. I'm going to put some braces here for you to see what the block of code is. This is a block of code.
Yeah.
Like this was a block of code.
Yep.
Okay. Exactly. So this is just a block of code
that performs some operations and
it receives an argument.
Back a result. Yeah.
And this will not run right away. Okay. So when I start the server, this will not run right away. It will only run this part of the code, or really I should say this part of the code will only run when the server receives a request.
Yes, when the server receives a request at home path.
Exactly.
That's the if condition here.
Yes. So this is now a block of code with the context as an argument.
Yeah.
And then we can do things to the context like set the result.
Yeah.
Or we could do things to the context like get maybe a header or something. Yeah, header. And with this header, we could get that strange header that we looked.
Referral code.
Yeah, I have no idea what this is.
I'm intrigued.
But we could do this.
Yeah.
Or we could get a field in a form or really anything.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm deleting all the code that is extra. And this is the code we are running.
Yeah.
And that's why we see hello world.
Yeah. If you can just change it and show, I think that is also, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'll do this. I'll also do something weird. I'll do a breakpoint right here.
Yeah.
Because I want to show you something. So, okay, I'm stopping the server right now, okay? So if I go to the browser and I try to load again,
it's screwed.
The site can be reached.
Yeah.
Server is stopped. Now I'm going to restart the server, but I'm going to start it not in
run, but debug mode.
Debug mode.
Yeah.
So previously I clicked here to start the thing. I could also click here after I do it the first time. Okay, so after I click here the first time, IntelliJ understands that this is the thing that I want to run. Yes. So it says here hello world as the class. I have run.
And then
I also have debug.
Yeah.
To debug is to run this program with some apparatus around the program, so that I can stop at some points and see what's happening.
Yeah. So
now we see that the server started.
Yeah.
It's all fine. And there is no stopping here. I put a breakpoint right here. So when this line tries to run, IntelliJ will halt.
Yeah.
But we see that the
it's
line
not started yet. Like you made the point, you just started the server right now.
Yes. So the server has started, but this breakpoint has not occurred yet.
Yes.
This code has not run yet. Okay. This code will run when I go to the browser and I hit return.
And there you go.
Bam! IntelliJ captured my attention. I didn't even switch windows. It just switched for me. Yeah. Let me go back to the browser real quick, and you can see the browser is loading. It's trying. Yeah. It's trying to reach the server. The server hasn't responded yet.
Yeah.
Now the server is stopped right here on this line.
Yeah.
Now this line is going to run. When I hit play again,
it'll run.
This line will run. So this is the play I want to hit. Okay, not this one. This would try to start another server.
Yeah.
Not this one. This one in the debugger it says resume the program. Okay, continue from now on.
Yes.
And then I will try to put the two side by side so we can see this live. Okay. So here the browser is waiting and waiting.
A little lower. Yeah. Amazing.
The browser is waiting.
Then you resume it.
I will resume and then
it worked.
Hello Yash.
That's it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So this is the basics of.
Yeah, just one more thing actually. Can you run it again in debug mode?
It's still running debug mode.
Oh no, I mean like rerun the server. Okay. Or just like go to Chrome and hit enter again. Yeah. So one thing to point out here that you have different variables in like wherever your breakpoint is, it will show you every variable that the server has at the time. And this is very useful when you're actually trying to actually debug your code and figure out where you went wrong. So you should look at different keys or data formats or just bits of data that are passing through this and know that, okay, there might be a mistake here.
Yes. You can see everything that we talked about right here in this variable. And it's in Javalin format, so it's not straightforward. But yeah, the meshed path is the slash. And you can see that, well, there are no arguments because we didn't fill any form. But it's a GET request. And the request is right here. And we can see, well, a lot more than we would like to see about this request.
So it doesn't just store like the context variable. If let's say I had a variable called number right
or
before,
maybe app.
Yeah, you can even look at app, I guess. It should be somewhere.
It should be somewhere, but I don't know where.
Yeah. So if you just have like a variable called number or something, you'll be able to find that and you can check the value of the variable number at that point of time.
Yeah.
And that stuff like this is very useful when you're trying to debug client-server communication and you can't figure out where you went wrong.
All right, so I can hit play again, and we can see here in the browser, hello Yash.
Yeah.
And yeah, so now we understand how Javalin works with a simple request.
Yeah.
but we are ready to get started to do the list
bigger
of
things. Yeah, bigger
list of items. Yeah. That is our first request. All right, see you on the next one.
Bye-bye.